Good morning. I'd like to call to order the regular board meeting for Tuolumne Utilities District for Tuesday, December 12th, 2023. Director Boatright, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Yes, I will. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, public forum. I'd like to welcome members of the public who have taken the time to attend this meeting and provide comments on matters related to district business. Any member of the public may address the board relating to any matter public forum. We'd like to welcome members of the public who have taken the time to attend this meeting and provide comments on matters related to district business. Any member of the public may address the board relating to any matter within the board's jurisdiction. This need not be related to any item on the agenda. However, the board cannot act on an item unless it was noticed on the agenda. Person speaking during public comment will be limited to 5 minutes, or depending on the number of persons wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all members of the public the opportunity to address the board. Is there anybody in attendance who'd like to address the board? Mr. Sipperly.
No, I'm not going to say the other thing. Good morning, board members, morning staff. I just wanted to congratulate you all on the water draft point grant that you got. I wanted to congratulate especially Ron and Barbara. I noticed they aren't here, so I can do that. But I know how long they've been working on it, and I think it's a real benefit to the county, and I'm really proud of you guys for getting that. And Abby has my other comment for later.
Thank you, Gary. Thanks, Gary. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is BG John. I'm here to present a request for a leak adjustment that has been denied by the office here. I purchased a property in June of this year that had several leaks. And between June and this point, I have been working with the office in fixing the leaks that they have identified. Most recently, there was a BFD device that was leaking that I had my plumber come in and fix. And I'm happy to say that I am leak free at this point, which is a good thing. My total expenses on all of the repairs is about $2,099, and I have been denied because of the time. There's apparently a policy where the leak has to be fixed and within 14 days of it being detected. And that's the reason that has been presented to me as the cause for the denial. So I'm here to request if the board can do anything in this regard to help me out. I have all the paperwork that I would like to submit to the board. And if there's any questions, for any details, I can answer them.
Don?
Well, Steve, will you just kind of give us a district standpoint, policy and procedure, just and then especially when it comes to requests from the public exception?
Sure. For the board, obviously this is public comment. Thank you for bringing it in. I am aware of this. He's been working with our customer service supervisor. We've been on site to the property half a dozen times over the past 4 months. So we've been working with the customer. For the board's benefit, the two newer board members who aren't aware, the district has a district adopted leak adjustment policy. It is on our website. It's been, last time it was updated was 2021. There's a whole host of reasons in this case that it was denied based on the policy and the qualifications within there. The cost of the policy isn't really where the adjustment comes in, but if you do qualify for it, then we take a look at the consumption that was incurred during that period and the timing there. And then there's a calculation, how much could potentially be eligible for an adjustment. So we have all the paperwork he referred to. We have the backup on here, and, you know, really, again, I could bring additional information to the board. If the board would look at and want to revisit the district policy as far as leaks, I would suggest go online or ask Melissa to send you a copy of the policy, and we can agendize that for a future case. But in this particular case, you know, we have to stand by our adopted water rules, our adopted policies, and we deal with leak adjustment requests almost on a daily basis. You know, especially with the condition of our pipes, some of these homes in here, and like he said, this one's been going on for quite a while now since he acquired the property. But again, technically under our policy as it stands right now, it would not qualify for the adjustment. So again, I'd be happy to answer any other questions the board might have at this time.
Thank you, Steve. So President Kearns, should the board decide that you want to address this, we need to agendize it in a future board meeting.
Yeah, that's correct. It would have to be agendized. Maybe you and I can talk about it offline and see if that's all right. And see what I'd like to. I know Steve just said there, and sounds like we've done everything we commonly do in this situation. I mean, it is what it is, but
We have your contact information if we just.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Director Jacobs has a question.
How many dollars are we talking about?
Well, in this case, the bill under question in total was, I believe, about $900 on that. The consumption part of that, I don't remember what it is. And then the leak policy provides for, you can have an adjustment once every 3 years, up to 50% of the proposed adjustment. Usually it means taking a look at what it was last year. He wasn't the owner of the property last year on there. And then, you know, so the adjustment would be approximately half of that. So, you know, in this case, potentially $400, probably less than that would be the calculation. But the dollar amount's not really the issue here. It's an established policy. It's something that, you know, it's very challenging. You know, I understand what you've done and worked with us and then that, but we get these all the time. And so it's very difficult to make special accommodations. You know, he referred to the 14 days. We routinely give people additional time on that. This one's been going on for, I believe, well over 3 months now. And there are multiple leaks involved, is my understanding. So I sympathize with that as well. But, you know, every time we try and make a special accommodations, customer service does an outstanding job working with it, trying to assist people. But, you know, the fact of the matter is the water went out and other people are paying for it, and the leaks, and there's a variety of leaks. It could be irrigation related, could be a backflow device on the property, could be a toilet. You know, there's a wide range of things. So we really make a dedicated effort to try and work with every customer. But again, every time we grant an adjustment, it becomes very challenging, especially when somebody comes to the board. What I would ask the board, you know, we can provide you the detailed information and everything else in here, but the real question is this board comfortable with the existing leak policy? And if the policy needs to be looked at or revised, then that's a future board meeting. But under our existing policy and everything else, unfortunately, you would not qualify. And, you know, that's kind of, especially with public comment, you know, it's great to have a customer come in and express what they've done, but customer service really goes the extra mile with this. We try and work with every customer. In this case, we've had a data logger out there on the meter. We've inspected for leaks. Like I said, 5 different occasions have gone out and confirmed there's still a leak going on. I believe the leak's been repaired, and I know he's been working with a plumber on that. But I've been kept informed, they've been kept informed, and we're trying just to adhere for to be fair to the greatest number of people.
Let's save this for an
Yeah.
agendized
I'm
item.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right.
That's all right.
It's good information, just it needs to be agendized so we can discuss it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Sue Osborne, and I just want to introduce myself. I'm a member of the League of Women Voters, and I'm here representing the Observer Corps.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Anybody else? Gary's back.
I'm sorry. In addition to praising you guys, just wanted to throw a shout out to Guy McCarthy for recognizing the fact that we built a draft point 4 years ago.
Yes, sure did. He did a good job with that article.
Yeah. Thanks, Gary. Anybody else? Anybody on Zoom there, Corey? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public comment. All right, consent calendar, Melissa?
Okay, item number 1, minutes of the regular board meeting of November 28th, 2023. Item number 2, approval of reimbursement claims for director's statement of meetings attended and or travel expenses and claim summary for November. Item number 3, cancellation of the December 26th, 2023 regular board meeting.
Anybody have any questions, additions, or deletions for the consent calendar? Okay, any public comment? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent calendar.
I move that we accept.
I would second that.
Okay, it's been first and seconded to approve the consent calendar. Melissa, you want to do a roll call?
Okay. Director Boatright,
Aye.
Director Jacobs,
Aye.
Director Kearns.
Aye.
A motion passes 3.
Okay, Director Balin's still not on, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
We're still
all
waiting.
right. Okay. All righty, moving on to regular business. Melissa?
Okay, item number 4, review and discuss draft 2023 update to the Tuolumne County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan, Annex F, Tuolumne Utilities District.
Good morning, President Kearns, member of the board, and actually packed house today.
Yeah.
So welcome, everyone. I also initially want to just recognize 2 folks from the county that are here with us today to help out if there's any questions about the county's part of the plan and to provide input on that. We have Dory Beets, who's the Assistant Director for OES, and Sarah Daniel. And I don't know your title, I apologize, but she's in the OES office with Dory. So we're happy to have them here. You have heard me on a number of occasions during staff report, give you an update that Eric Hall and I have been meeting with the county and other local jurisdictions on the hazard mitigation plan. This is a plan that has to be updated every 5 years. The county is the responsible party for the plan, but we as a local jurisdiction have the option to either have our own hazard mitigation plan or participate in the county's plan as an annex. So we have done that. The hazard mitigation plan is part of the requirements of the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000. And so we have always felt like it was efficient and prudent to participate with the county because they do a great job. We face most of, if not all of the same hazards that the county faces being here. And so it makes sense for our staff to join them as well as with the partners of the plan. I believe the last time I saw the list, there was 18 jurisdictions locally that join in on the plan. So that's been wonderful. So what the hazard mitigation plan is it identifies natural and man-made disasters that could occur in our county, but also specifically to TUD and our infrastructure and how that would impact not only our district, but our customers. And so it outlines the types of disasters we face, the history of disasters that we face, and then mitigation actions that we have internally with our internal planning team have identified mitigations for, but also at the planning meetings with the county. Our first meeting was in July of 2023 with the county. So we've been working on this close to 6 months now and with all of the partners there. And in order to become eligible for hazard mitigation planning money grants with FEMA, we are required to have this plan updated every 5 years. So I've presented it to you today. It is in draft form. Our own TUD hazards have been identified, and we have the local jurisdiction profile that's updated. There are some areas within the plan that are grayed out because those are sections within the plan that the county is responsible for, and they're putting together in joint partnership with the agencies, but they put those together and then we will implement or compile them along with our plan in those sections. So I wasn't able to get you those. We're going to get those from the county, I think within a week or so, to finalize that part. But I really wanted to give the board an early opportunity to look at the plan, have some input on the hazard mitigation actions and the profile that we've set forth so that we can set ourselves up for any grant funding in the future. And so give you an opportunity to do that, but it will come back to the board early in 2024 once we have OES's comments and updates, and then also once we have FEMA's notes on it so we can finalize a draft, get it in front of your board for adoption, and then ultimately the Board of Supervisors for Tuolumne County will adopt the whole plan, and then it will be enacted. As of note, we currently have a couple of hazard mitigation grant applications out there that do rely on this plan being adopted by April of 2024. That is for a raw water reservoir at the future Sierra Pines Regional Water Treatment Plant and a hazard mitigation grant for the Lyons Main Canal resiliency project. That's an advanced assistance, more of a planning project. As well as we currently have applications and are working with FEMA right now on the disaster recovery or public assistance through FEMA for the storms of 2023, both from December to February and then also in March. So the next steps for this, I kind of mentioned them, but there is a public hearing at the County Board of Supervisors this Thursday in the evening. And then once that goes forth and we have the county's updates, we will incorporate that, submit that to the county. They'll provide us notes. We'll get it back to them and go through that dance. And like I said, by about March of 2024, we'll have this before the board again. So did I miss anything, Dory? Would you like to?
No.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm here for questions on the TUD plan, but also Dory and Sarah are here to answer any questions you have about the county's part.
Okay, and you did say it's going to come back in around March, you think,
Yes.
something like that?
That sounds about right. Yes.
Yeah. And Dory, you guys are working obviously with all the other special districts in the county, Groveland, Twain Harte, and so on.
Yes, all of the special districts are a part of the annex. School districts, tribes. City of Sonora is doing their own plan this year, but at the same time, they're actually working on their hazard mitigation plan. But we will add that to our plan as well as an annex, but it'll be a separate plan that they'll have a standalone plan.
Okay. And I think I saw it in here, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How long will this plan be, when adopted, how long will it be in effect?
5 years.
5 years.
So it has 5 years and it's required, as Abby said, in order to get funding from disasters, as all of us are a part of the storms from this year, and knock on wood, we don't have any this next year, but also to the hazard mitigation planning funding that is available to entities who are part of an approved hazard mitigation plan.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any other questions for Dory while she's up here? Director Jacobs.
Yes, thank you for coming. Appreciate it. This is a massive effort. Very much appreciated all your hard work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I was just curious, I also serve on the LAFCO Commission representing special districts as a TUD representative. To what degree does LAFCO involved in this process, just for my own education?
Well, so staff from the county perspective, Quincy Yaley, as you're familiar, does participate in reviewing some of the mitigation efforts from the county profiles perspective. But we do reach out to all the special districts by law that are eligible to apply. We are adding a couple that have not been a part of our plan in past years. So LAFCO itself as an entity is not necessarily brought the plan forward, but staff from LAFCO side do review the plan.
Very good. Thank you.
Welcome.
Director Boatright, you got any questions?
No, not at this time.
Okay. We'll go ahead and open it to public comment. Well, since this is a discussion item only, yeah, we can open it to public comment. Anybody like to speak on it here? It's in person? Seeing none, how about on the, nobody out there either, Corey? Okay, thank you. All right, last chance for any questions for Dory. Well, she's here. Director Jacobs.
Yes. So as part of my role as a LAFCO commissioner, I attended a LAFCO conference a few months ago, and there was a presentation there that was permanently seared in my mind, and that was a representative from Butte County talking about the Paradise Fire. Something like 85 lives were lost, or mostly elderly and handicapped, disabled. Like this, something like 95% of the town's homes were destroyed. There were 21,000 residents that'll be displaced. And they brought up that in that case, the county LAFCO was quite proactive in helping put a plan together that would avoid those kinds of things happening. And they referred specifically to the Butte County General Plan safety element. And they said that that was kind of the gold standard of in this arena. Are you familiar with that particular?
Yes, absolutely. Our work within Tuolumne County Office of Emergency Services, for those, we are housed in the CAO's office. So many of you know that I work directly for Tracy Riggs. She actually serves as the Office of Emergency Services Director. So we work with the staff, multiple staff within that office for wildfire resiliency. So we do follow. We obviously have been following the recommendations that have come out of Butte County as a result of Paradise Fire. With respect to evacuation planning, sirens, just alternative egress routes, those types of concerns that we would have in this community as well. So we're working towards that. In the hazard mitigation plan, of course, it focuses on the natural hazards, which wildfire is a natural hazard. And so we are addressing concerns with respect to where the built environment is and how we can mitigate. Hazard mitigation is really about how can we lessen the impact of future events. So what can we do to invest in the future to minimize wildfire, minimize flood, minimize, other types of catastrophic events that might impact our communities. So we are definitely a part of that, again, through our community development department in planning, looking at the safety element and those things that we can make changes to lessen that impact. One of them is home hardening, and we are a proud recipient this year of a FEMA grant specific. We are the 4th pilot project in the state that will be implementing a $20 million home hardening project in the community of Ponderosa Hills. We just signed a environmental historic preservation contract to begin that. So look forward to that, where 415 homes in the Ponderosa and Miramonte will get a home hardening makeover free of charge for those that are eligible and sign to be a part of that new project. So those are things that we are recommending and working kind of collectively within the entire county, within all levels, to ensure that we're mitigating any future disasters.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I just want to say, I want to thank Abby and Eric and all of the TUD staff who have been phenomenal every time we've asked them to be at a meeting, to participate or to get things back to us. They have been just absolutely phenomenal. So thank you very much for that. So, and obviously you as a board and supporting the work that we are doing in Tuolumne County. So thank you.
Thank you, Dory. Thanks for coming today.
President Kearns, Director Balin has joined.
Oh, she has. Okay. Okay. All right, good.
You might want to ask.
Abby. Mhm.
And just one more thing, if the board doesn't have any questions about the TUD profile, that's wonderful. I also wanted to, at the end, just compliment Dory and her staff. They have a big job. We have a lot of disasters, unfortunately, especially this year. So coordinating with 18 jurisdictions and trying to get documents back and updates back and compiling all of that is no easy task. And so I just want to say thank you very much. We appreciate your work on that because it obviously is a huge benefit to TUD and our customers. So appreciate it.
I'm used to this getting up and down, so this is good. But I want to just do a shout out to Sarah Daniel, who is our new resilience analyst. We were awarded funding from Cal OES called Jumpstart for 5 years for funding to specialize and work on and focus on mitigation. So Sarah's going to be all of the agency's kind of direct person to help find funding for mitigation projects and to help support the work that we're trying to do in Tuolumne County. So Sarah's going to be our lead on that, and she's brand spanking new, about what, 4 months now. And so she's getting used to this, you know, getting exposed to the community. So she's from here, lived here many years. Her husband works for the Forest Service, and we're just really happy to have her. So thank you.
Good to have you, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. All right, any other comments? Okay,
Director Balin, does she want to have a comment?
Director Balin, would you like to comment on the hazard mitigation plan at all at this time? It's a discussion item only, as I'm sure you're aware.
Not at this time, except I'm really excited that all the agencies are really coming together and doing great work. That's
Okay,
all.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, like I said, it's a discussion item, so no vote to be taken now. We'll look forward to it first quarter of 24. And thank you, Dory and Sarah, for being here today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take care. See you on the 9th.
Yeah.
Same topic.
All right, next item of business there, Melissa.
Okay, item number 5, approve resolution expressing appreciation to Steve Sheffield on his retirement from Tuolumne Utilities District on January 5th, 2024.
Okay.
Okay, that's me again. Good morning again. And I'm not going to embarrass you, Steve, but and I know he has a hard time for us acknowledging him, but we have to acknowledge Steve Sheffield for his 13 years of service to Tuolumne Utilities District as our finance director. And just wanted to give him the opportunity for you to formally recognize his years of service because they've been of extreme value to TUD. As you know, I have the opportunity to do this every so often. Sometimes we have a lot of retirements, sometimes only a few in a year, but it's important for us to recognize our staff members. This is not an easy job. Steve does not have an easy job, and but we appreciate it, and so we wanted to take this time out to do that. So with that, Steve has been with the district for 13 years. Since 2012. And so I'm going to go ahead and read through his resolution, and then there'll be an opportunity to chime in if you'd like to have some words for Steve. So this is a resolution of the Board of Directors of Tuolumne Utilities District expressing appreciation to Steve Sheffield on his retirement, January 5th, 2024. Whereas after 13 years of dedicated service with the Tuolumne Utilities District, Finance Director Steve Sheffield will retire on January 5th, 2024. And prior to joining Tuolumne Utilities District, Steve Sheffield's professional background included working for private practice auditing firms, owning his own CPA practice, county governmental accounting experience, and 3 years as a bakery manager. He has held certified public accounting status since 1984. Steve began working with the district on August 30th, 2010, in newly established Assistant Finance Director position. And on September 11th, 2012, the Board of Directors of Tuolumne Utilities District appointed him to the position of Finance Director, where he has served to this date. Steve has worked diligently to successfully implement the board's fiscal policies and goals, respond to concerns expressed by the public, and manage the financial functions of the district. And as directed by the district's strategic plan, Steve followed best financial management and fiscal planning practices, was instrumental in managing public funds, assuring financial stability and prudent rate management. The district has received clean audits for over a decade under Steve's watch. His expertise and dedication to the district and the public are valuable. And Steve continually kept staff informed of current news and issues that would impact district operations, sharing his own knowledge and insight. Now, therefore, the Board of Directors of the Tuolumne Utilities District on this 12th day of December 2023 expresses its gratitude and appreciation for Steve's dedication and loyal service to the district, and offers best wishes for good health and happiness in his well-deserved retirement. Thank you, Steve. It's been a pleasure. We'll get you for a few more weeks, but I wish you the absolute best in your retirement. Thank you. And I'll open it up.
Go ahead,
May
Don.
I?
Mhm.
So I'm not going to look at Steve in the face because one of us will get emotional. But I can't not recognize you. You know, we all have an important job here and everybody shares an equal balance of it. But what Steve was able to do in these 13 years is remarkable. We needed him in the worst way and we didn't even know it. At least I didn't. I was a brand new superintendent when he got here. And then later on, I got promoted to operations manager, where I began to work with Steve every day. And it was in that time when I learned the absolute condition that our finances were, and it was terrible. We were upside down in the water side. I'm talking about mostly the water side, and there's probably other things, but we were really, really, really into trouble in the water side. And what Steve has been able to do from then until now is truly remarkable. We would not be here today building, almost completed a brand new wastewater treatment plant without his expertise, knowledge, period. It wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't have gotten the grant or the loans. None of that wouldn't have happened without his expertise, knowledge. He has taught me so much about governmental finances, stuff that I had no clue, and it helped mold me. I don't think I could be a general manager without the time I spent with you, period. You didn't mince your words. You were here just to counsel me. And you did a great job. You mentored me, you counseled me. I've learned a lot. There's a lot more I want to say, but thank you. You're leaving this district in a far, far better way than you found it. That was your goal, accomplished. Thank you.
I guess
Eric?
I'll take a turn here because Steve didn't want to be recognized. So we're going to recognize him. Your last meeting here, we had to do something, right? I'm glad I'm having to change you to the chair here. You know, of the management team, Steve has been in his role the longest. He's been a real steady hand. I've found great comfort knowing that he was there watching the finances of the district. It's like the critical, arguably one of the most important, if not the most important aspect for us to have the resources to do our job. And Steve is just aggressively, and I use that on purpose, defensive of the district, loyal to the district, loyal to his staff. He has really built a wonderful department over there of very competent people. The level of professionalism since he took over there has just leaps and bounds above what, you know, my experience with finance department had been. I totally echo Don's sentiments. I listen to Steve. I learn a lot from Steve. I realize how much I still need to learn, but he has. I jotted down while I was sitting here just a few things I'd like to highlight, Steve, if you'll allow me. Rates. I mean, Steve is a force of personality. I mean, the board knows that, and he wears his emotions on his sleeve. But if you ask him a question, he's going to tell you what he really feels. And there's something to be said for that. Without his analysis, we wouldn't have gotten, I'm sure the board wouldn't have been comfortable taking those steps on rates, which is super important. A couple other things here, IT department. Corey over there wasn't here until Steve really championed having that position. I'm sure Abby was very involved in that, but that department, and I say really one person, has transformed how this district's prepared for cybersecurity and IT. That's very much part of Steve's doing, as well as the transition to enterprise software, which is a cultural change here at this district. We previously used a product called Springbrook. I can't tell you how many times Steve complained about that product and pulled out his hair, and maybe some of mine also was lost at that time. But to transition to what we use now required a lot of training, a lot of conditioning, and earning the trust of staff. That is a huge accomplishment that we will have going forward for many years. I'd also like to point out some of the district's, the board's actions related to OPEB and pre-funding that. Steve was instrumental in that. Our clean audits that the board sees every year, his department responsible for that. But honestly, for me personally, I've just found Steve to be very principled and very consistent, and a great advocate for capital. And that's my job. That's how I view my job here. And so without him being very watchful of the district's finances, but not overly draconian and controlling, we wouldn't be able to do all the projects we do. Because as the board knows, every time we put an estimate together for a project, it's never exactly right. And Steve, rather than being punishing or, punitive for that, he's very understanding as long as it fits within budget. So I just really gonna miss you, Steve. I've appreciated the counsel you've provided me, and I look forward to working with the new finance director, but you deserve a good retirement, and please keep in touch.
Anybody else? Director Boatright.
Steve, thank you for your service. Both during the time that I worked here and time as board. You've done a fabulous job watching and presenting. Thank you.
I'll say a few things. We've heard a lot of compliments here, and I agree. Words like aggressive, clean audits, knowing rates and OPEB and from top to bottom. All those things are exactly the things that the finance director needs to be in charge of right here at TUD or any organization. In my professional career, I've worked with several CPAs and accountants, and Steve's right up there at the top. He really is. You really are. And this district inside and out. You know how this money flows. You know where it's supposed to go and where it's not supposed to go. And you are aggressive about it, and you should be, because that's exactly what your job is. You're the gatekeeper, so to speak, in my mind. And you have done a fantastic job here. And I enjoyed the few times that you and I have been able to talk on certain things, and you've always made it clear exactly what you thought and the way it should be. And I appreciate that. So thank you, Steve. Wish you nothing but the best. Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Antonio's back there. He's got his hand up.
Oh, you're in trouble.
I was gonna say, uh-oh.
Is it green?
So much for the
Can we turn
compliment.
this up a little bit?
Yeah.
I debated, nerves and everything, whether I should talk, but like Don, I have a great fondness for you, Steve. You're a really good friend to me. If there's anything about Steve, man, it's integrity, integrity, integrity. As good as friends as Steve and I became over the years, he never let me get away with anything. And sometimes you know, there's ways of looking at things and you know, in the end, we were always doing right for the district, you know, for his staff and things like that. It just, he never let me cut corners. And, you know, knowing that he cared for me, that shows you his integrity, you know, and it just meant a lot to me. You know, one always questions, you know, whether you've achieved your goals in life. And I think, Steve, you know, you can look at your staff and I enjoy working with all of them. They're just great people. And you did a great job selecting them and mentoring them. You know, I kind of have this fortunate position, or have had for the last 10 years, to kind of have two bosses with you and Eric. Obviously Eric is my boss, but working with you every day, it was like I had two bosses, and you gave me so much great advice, challenged me, maybe become a better person. You know, I'm a little bit emotional just because we became friends. We talk a lot about our families, and I've enjoyed our lunches, and I'm really gonna miss you, man. So I'm happy you got your grandbabies and you got all that to look forward, and I hope you have a great retirement. You deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio. Thanks, Antonio. Anybody else?
I'll just a brief response, because I don't want to lose it here or anything. I'm totally uncomfortable with this. I repeatedly asked Dawn and Abby not to do this. I'm not worthy. I'm just not. It's not like Glenn leaving. This is me leaving. But, you know, I appreciate the kind words, and you guys have touched me deeply. And, you know, what I told Dawn is I'm just doing my job. Okay. I'm just a humble civil servant trying to do the very best of my abilities to serve the community that I'm so fond of and to be part of this family. And when I got here, I didn't know how much of a family it really was. I saw a lot of challenges, like Dawn said. And, you know, in the past 13 years, I've had 7 different general managers. I probably had close to 30 different board members, but every one of the staff that we brought on board is still here, I guess, except for one that left last week. But, you know, it's truly been a privilege and an honor to work for TUD, to work for the customers, to work with this group you have here. Every day I came in, I was so impressed with the work the staff does in every department. And that's how I leave it. You know, all these wonderful accomplishments we talked about, I take no credit. I mean, this was a team effort working here, and I hope I represented the district well, and I hope I was able to mentor my employees to be, you know, better employees and better humans and that sort of thing, because I know all of you made me a better person. So I'm gonna miss her very much. So enough.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Director Balin has her hand up.
Yes, and I apologize for the background here. Steve, thank you for your service, for keeping us in the black. I want to thank you for the sense of worry and responsibility that you had. You have big shoes to fill, but above all, Steve, you had said you hope that you had left TUD in better shape a while ago, and I can say without a doubt you did. Apologize here. But most of all, I want to say, Steve, is you put your heart into this job, and I really appreciate that. I'm going to keep it short here. Thank you, Steve.
All right. Well, no other comments. I'll entertain a motion for the resolution.
I move we approve the resolution.
I would second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to pass the resolution. Any further comment? Okay, Melissa?
Okay. Director Kearns,
Aye.
Director Jacobs,
Aye.
Director Boatright,
Aye.
Director Balin.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0.
Okay, congratulations, Steve. Mhm.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, next order of business, Melissa.
Okay, item number 6, election of officers of the Board of Directors, A, President, B, Vice President.
Well, on paper, it's my item, but I'm gonna quickly hand it over to President Kearns. So this is the time of year, every year, the first meeting in December, we elect officers. Over the years, we've done it different ways, but the last few years, it's just been a simple nomination from one of the board members. So it's all yours, President.
Okay, Director Balin, I see you have your hand up.
Yep. Well, I've been giving this a lot of thought, and I think for this year, I would like to nominate Jeff for president for a second year and Director Ringen for vice chair for a second year. I think this is a real good, steady team, and I'd like to see them continue. So I nominate both of them for the year 2024.
Okay. Anybody else? No other comments? Is there a second for that?
I will second that.
Okay. Seconded by Director Boatright. Any further discussion? Okay. Melissa? Public comment? No comment, Gary? I saw your hand go up. Oh, okay.
Thumbs
I
up.
got you. I got you. All right, we'll close public comment. Melissa?
Okay, I will do a roll call. Director Balin,
Aye.
Director Boatright,
Aye.
Director Jacobs,
Aye.
Director Kearns.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that that vote of confidence. Thank you very much. And I look forward to serving one more year as president. I've enjoyed it this year and we'll continue on. Thank you. Okay, Melissa, next order, next item.
Staff reports.
I'll be brief. And it's really kind of a look forward. I'm really excited about January 9th meeting. We have a special guest, Forest Supervisor Jason Kuiken is going to be here. He's going to give an update and a presentation on the Searle project. I believe he'll probably talk about the Searle 2.0 at that time. So Gary, I'd like for you to be here on that project. And then also, I've invited Rick Lynn from EN2 to give the board and the public an update on our California Wildfire Defense Grant that both Director Balin and Director Ringen were very instrumental in championing years. We got a team here with Abby and Emily to submit for a grant, and we were successful. And so it just kind of blends in, not blends in, it just it fits in nice what the forest supervisors are doing, what the county's doing. I think we're all got a hand in this, and so I'm really looking forward to the years to come for all the good work we're going to do. That's the end of my staff report.
So I said enough. I didn't want to say anything more, but one last order of business, and staff report's really the only appropriate place. I want to give the board a heads up, okay? When we did the USDA grant, when we did the USDA project for a regional wastewater treatment plant, it was composed of 3 parts. One was we put up almost $9 million of our own money. The second one is USDA required us to get interim financing, a construction loan, if you will. It was short-term bonds were issued. It used to be USDA would just fund you the money, and then that would be part of the 40-year repayment plan. But USDA said, no, they don't do that anymore. So we actually issued bonds, hired bond counsel, went through the whole process. The board approved all of this, and we sold $25 million worth of bonds. That money got put into a construction account, and we have drawn that down. Then the last part is about $8.6 million of grant, which we've started to draw down from USDA. We were contacted by our bond counsel who said, well, the bonds come due in August. So I've been focused on, we got to get this project done by August or else, we won't be able to repay the bonds. Well, the project's on track. We're looking at being finished by March. So we pay interest payments on that 25 million of about $155,000 every February and August. So the bond counsel had a discussion. I brought Eric in on this and said, why we can repay these bonds early. We don't have to wait till August. We can repay them early. There's certain things you have to do, but if we repay them early, there's no discount, no penalty, no anything else, but we will save this interest that we've been paying on it. So because clearly we can't get this done by the end of the year, we brought Eric in here, and the next thing that's going to occur is we've asked the bond counsel to draw up the necessary papers and resolutions. And we intend to bring that to the board the second meeting in January. Eric's going to bring it to the board with Don. And we're going to basically ask the board to approve paying this early, signing off on the resolution, and to proceed with USDA. Then in February, we would actually get paid off. Same time we make an interest payment, we get paid off, but we're going to save about $155,000 by not having the last one. USDA will proceed with them as soon as the project's totally closed. We'll have 3 new loans that will start. USDA essentially issues bonds for this, and then we will start a 40-year repayment plan. All of that's just like we originally planned. The only difference is by paying it early, we're going to save $155,000, which is great. And also kudos to the bond counsel for working with us. But the reason I'm doing this as a staff report is to let the board know, rather than having to have a couple different meetings to talk about this and do this, it's going to be kind of bang, bang. So in January, you'll see a resolution, several resolutions, asking the board to approve, notifying the people who bought the bond. So we're going to prepay it, and approving USDA to proceed with the loan as we originally did. Then in February, we'll actually have the repayment go. So heads up, more to come, second meeting in January.
That's great, Steve.
It's a good thing.
Absolutely it is. And remind us again what that USDA financing is going to be, that low interest?
Because we did it in 2 parts, we had the first one, I think it was 2.1%, I think at the time. And then the second one was slightly different, like 2.3, because we had to get more. They gave us more loan on that. But basically, when it's said and done, when it's closed, it's either the lowest of that interest right then and there or the interest at the end. Well, right now it's higher than it was there. But I believe each of the loans were about 2.1 and 2.3.
Yeah, good.
And it's 40 years too.
Yeah.
So. The only other one was the discussions with Sierra Pines, and I'll defer to Eric on that to give an update because I think you have more current information than I do. But we had a phone conversation with the state on the Sierra Pines. We talked to the board before about the package they've kind of put together. And so we're providing them, seems like each day they ask for some additional information. We're providing that, keeping Don up to speed on that as well. So.
Great.
Last staff report ever.
That's a good way to go out. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate that.
All right, well, as you can see, we're going to be missing Steve because he covered a bit of terrain there. He's been really key in communicating with bond counsel and our financing manager with Chris Perlitz, and then with Sierra Pines as well. What Steve said about Sierra Pines is true. We're drip feeding them information as they request. There's still hope to see the funding agreement issued before the end of the year. We'll see when that time comes, but to refresh the board's memory, it was about 26 million in 27 million in grant, 10 million in zero interest loan, and 8 million in change in a loan at terms, which is a low interest loan. So we're still working on that. But I would like to jump back to the regional plant, and Don didn't mention it, and he may want to speak more to this, but as of about 8:30 this morning, we cut over the sewer. And so wastewater is now flowing through the new treatment facility. Eric Hall is not here. He has been working extremely hard, as all the operations staff on the wastewater treatment and collection side. Collection staff and the contractor worked overnight, all night, to make these connections. I know Don was here, 3-4 o'clock in the morning, so you look really good considering.
I shaved
It's
before I went to bed.
youthfulness. Yeah. So I was down there very briefly this morning, and there wasn't any yelling, there wasn't any running around. Things were operating very smoothly, and that's a testament to all the work and effort that's gone into this in advance. Now the contractor will move to the second phase of the project, which is the overhaul of the digesters and that part, sort of the residuals, the sludge handling part of the process, which we hope to be finished in March with the overall project. But the big step is now we have a new treatment facility treating the liquid stream. So we'll give you more information about that. Don, I don't know if you want to say anything.
No, you did fine.
Okay. And then this dovetails into Abby's presentation about emergency response and that type of thing. We've been engaging Sunbelt Rentals, as we have others, about what a bypass would look like of the Tuolumne Main Canal in the event of an emergency. And I just want you folks to know that your staff here recognize that emergencies, although they may come in any flavor, if we aren't prepared for them, meaning we don't have the right individuals with the right amount of knowledge and we don't know what resources are available to us, we're going to lose valuable time. And so we've reached out to Sunbelt to discuss what sort of rental pumps, generators, pipe, and those kinds of things they could bring on very short notice at large quantities. Had 2 conference calls with them, and a field meet is scheduled here in the next few weeks, weather permitting, so that they can actually put boots on the ground and see what the terrain looks like. So we do have a plan, but we continue to refine it, and we're revisiting it this year, and we'll continue to every year forward to make sure we have the right contacts. People change, and you call a cell phone and that guy doesn't work for Sunbelt anymore. So just wanted to make sure the board was aware of that. That's all I have to report.
Thank you, Eric. Good news on the wastewater treatment plant. That's awesome. Yeah.
Exciting, very exciting.
Yeah. Abby, you have any more?
Yeah, just a short, thank you for mentioning that on the emergency response side. We mitigate hazards, but then if something happens, then we need to have a response plan too. So yeah, so thank you for mentioning that. That's definitely the other side of the coin that we hope we never get to, but we have to be prepared for it. One other thing I wanted to mention, other than you'll see the media has caught on to the grant, the Community Wildfire Prevention Grant and the Firewater Draft Points analysis and all of that. And so that's been wonderful. And we anticipate that Aqua will also pick up that story this week. So thank you, Emily, for getting that out there. It's a very important project. So thank you to Directors Ringen and Balin on spearheading that. And then also, as it relates to the county who's no longer here, but so we work close with the county, of course, on many different avenues because it's very important. Obviously, we need to work together. And so the county just put out last week a storyboard for Tuolumne County wildfire protection. So this is on their website, and it has been a long time coming, I think a couple of years now, that I know for sure Eric Hall has been a part of, probably Eric Johnson, because GIS at the county has been trying to put together a map so that we have a lot of different jurisdictions trying to do fuels prevention or fuels reduction, wildfire prevention, grants and acquiring grants and trying to do all of this work, but we don't want to duplicate efforts. If someone else has applied for a grant for fuels reduction at a specific spot in the county, we don't want to duplicate that. We want to try and go for a different area that would also benefit. We're not short of areas that we need to do the work on or get grants for. So thank you to the county for putting that together. So we'll continue to contribute to that. So we make sure that any of the work that we're doing gets put on that storyboard, and so that we can use that as well for future grant funding to see where what other jurisdictions are doing there. So just wanted to say that as well. And then also just wanted to give a shout out to Gadiel DiMattei. He obtained his Distribution 2 certification. He's one of our associate engineers, but is thirsty for knowledge. And so he has, pun intended. So he's now has both his water treatment and water distribution certifications in addition to his professional engineering license. So thank you and congrats to Gadiel DiMattei, and he's on Eric's crew. So anyway, that is the rest of my report.
Interesting choice of words for thirsty on a wastewater.
Well, it was
distribution.
water, so.
Actually, it was distribution, wasn't it? Yeah.
You never
so-
know.
Okay, all right. All right, I think that's it for everybody who is here on the staff, unless Emily has something you want to chime in on? Nope, okay. We'll move on to Director's Communications. Who'd like to start?
No reports at this time.
Okay.
So,
Glenn?
Yes, I'd like to report that yesterday, the Tuolumne County LAFCO Commission met, and it was lengthy and lively in regard to how to staff support for LAFCO. Right now, all the staffing for LAFCO comes from county employees with an agreement, and we're looking to have LAFCO be more, rather than just play a custodial role, if you will, to really look at being more proactive in addressing some of the needs of the county, wildfire, in particular, disaster mitigation, coordination of agencies, particularly fire. There was an expression of concern in the Groveland area, for example. There's a lot of lodging projects that are in the works, but Groveland Community Services District doesn't really have the bandwidth to adequately serve in emergency situations all this development that's coming forth. So that's just one example. And there's discussion of Jamestown, perhaps putting together a community services district. There has been ongoing discussion for some time of having Tuolumne City buying some agencies to a community services district. So there's a lot of things that the commission could be doing to help solve some of the thorny problems that we face as a county, and UD plays a critical role in that. So it was quite interesting, quite productive, and lots more to come. Thank you.
Okay. Director Balin, do you have anything to report?
I'll keep it short again. I wanted to give a shout out to TUD and especially Emily for the press release and the article by Alex. And I wanted to especially thank Don for meeting with some of the folks from Paradise that really recommended that we stay on our vegetation and not wait for somebody else to take the lead and before we burn. So a lot of hands went into that grant, and I just wanted to thank everybody. And that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. And you missed it. You hadn't signed on yet, but Gary Sippley's here from Twain Harte Community Services District, and he spoke in public comment and congratulated you and Director Ringen as well as TUD on getting that grant. So just wanted to be sure you heard that. Okay, I do have one report here from the Aqua JPIA that I attended last week, actually 2 weeks ago now, and has to do with our insurance that we work with. We have liability, property, workers' comp, and employee benefits. As with all insurance these days, we're looking at more increases, not as much as what it has been in the past, though, thank goodness. Liability is going up 10% from last year. The property program's going up 20%. And one good thing, workers' comp is staying the same. It's staying pretty flat. And then the cyber protection, that one's the one I always keep an eye on from the business I've been in all these years. And that's a big part of criminal activity these days for any entity, not just a special district or but private industry as well. And we've seen huge increases over the last 4 years in cyber protection. 2021, it went up 38%. 21-22, it went up 641%. 22-23 last year, it went up 29%. Well, guess what? This year, it's zero. So evidently they felt that they caught up finally. And so that's, I don't know if that's really a good thing because it is so expensive, but at least it's not going up any higher. And with all these bad actors that are out there, it's certainly something that we need. And but it's at least it didn't go up this year. So very interesting meeting this year, as always, and enjoy it. And that's all I have to report on that. Gary, yeah, you have one more comment? Why don't you come on up?
LAFCO meeting, did anybody discuss the idea of taking management of LAFCO away from the county and hiring a consultant? So somebody actually does it?
Yes,
Good. Any progress on that?
it's an agenda item for the January meeting. You might want to join us. Should be fun.
Well, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. All right. So that's it for director's reports. So Melissa, would you like to read our closed session item?
Okay, closed session. A, conference with real property negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8, property APN 085050001 et al. Agency negotiators Don Perkins, Jesse Barton, Tom Johnson. Other party to negotiations, Mike Schoner, Pacific Gas and Electric Company. Under negotiation, price and terms of payment. Item B, public employee performance evaluation pursuant to Government Code Section 54957, position general manager.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public portion of this, and we'll go into closed session. Couple minute break.